enter an expression equivalent to 3x squared plus 2y squared minus 3x plus 2x squared plus y squared minus 2x minus x squared plus 3y squared plus x, using the fewest number of possible terms. Okay, so what this problem really wants us to do is it wants us to take a look at these three expressions that the first one is being added with the second one, and then we are subtracting the third one. These three different expressions, they have a lot of terms inside of them. We basically need to open these expressions up so that we can combine like terms, which will give us the fewest number of possible terms. So a couple things to remember over here is how do we remove the parentheses from these expressions? Well, one way that we could think about it is if we have an expression that's in these parentheses, and we have three of them, 1, 2, 3, and I've written that same problem over here, that when we remove the parentheses, we are either going to keep the sign of the terms as they are inside, and we will do that whenever it's positive on the outside of that parenthesis. And if it's ever a parenthesis with a negative on the inside, then we are going to change the signs. Now, mathematically what's happening is you can think of it as the distribution of a -1 would make a positive become a negative, positive become a negative, and if there was a negative, it would make that become a positive. But let's go ahead and let's keep going with this simple rule of removing parentheses. If it's positive, we keep. If it's negative, we change. And so let's take a look at our three expressions, and let's look at the sign in front of them. Well, the first expression in parentheses, you don't see it, but because there's no negative sign out in front, that we take it to mean that it's positive, which means that we are going to keep all of these terms as they are when we bring them out. This positive tells us that we are going to keep all of these terms in that second expression, and in this third expression, this tells us that we are going to change the sign of all of those terms. So let's go ahead and start doing this work. In the first expression, we bring it out exactly how it is. That's a positive 3x squared plus 2y squared minus 3x, right? None of them changed, all the same. We take a look at the second expression, and let's remove those parentheses. This is going to be a plus 2x squared plus y squared minus 2x. And that's keeping all of those terms the same. Let's look at this last set of three terms, and let's change them as we bring them out. We have a positive x squared, and that's going to come out as a negative x squared. Then we have a positive or a plus 3y squared, and so we will take that as a minus or a negative 3y squared. And we have a positive or a plus x, and we will change that to be minus or a negative x. Alright, so now we have all of our terms. They've all been taken out of their parenthesis sets. And now we are ready to combine like terms. So here we just have to make sure that we're organized. Let's go ahead and let's start finding like terms. So the first set of like terms I see are x squared terms. And we have one here. We have another, the positive 2x squared. And then we have a minus 1x squared. Right? And just in case we forget, let's put a 1 in front just to know that that's minus one of them. And to combine these like terms, we have to add their coefficients or combine their coefficients. So we have 3 plus 2, which equals 5, minus 1 will equal 4x squared. Let's move on to the next like term set. We have y squareds. Are there any other? Yes, there's one down here. And so we have 2y squared plus 1y squared, and we have a minus 3y squared. All right, so let's combine these like terms. 2 plus 1 is 3. Minus 3 will give us 0y squareds. These cancel out. So we would not have to write anything for the y squareds. So let's take a look at the last available term, which appears to be these x terms. Remember, x squared and x are different terms because they have to have the same variable with the same powers. So let's add these up. Negative 3 minus 2 more puts us at negative 5x, minus 1 more gives us negative 6x. And there you have it. You have the expression that is using the fewest number of possible terms. So let's go ahead and enter it into our item. So let's go ahead and use these buttons. Let's go with the 4. Then we hit X. And then we want to hit the power structure button. Right? Don't just hit the 2 button before you hit this. If you do, then it will look like that, which looks more like a multiplication. And you need to hit the power button to give that second power. Now we need to get back down to that original line, so we have to space over, and you can see our cursor moves down, and we can continue by hitting minus 6x, and there you have it, the answer to the item.